increased world height, increased world depth, 3D biomes, brand new terrain features. These are just some of the amazing brand new features introduced in Minecraft 1.18. And with all this lovely stuff, you might be wondering, what can I do with all this? Well, stick around for a bit and I'll show ya. What's poppin' gamers, it is me Leon with a brand new 7 quick tips video. It's time to go through 7 of my favorite ways to utilize the new 1.18 terrain and world generation to create some mega builds. We've got a lot of cool tips and building inspiration coming right up, so make sure to stick around. And without further ado, let's jump right into 7 quick tips for building in Minecraft 1.18. Want to build in the new underground biomes? Be prepared for some terraforming. Now, this probably sounds a little bit weird at first. I mean, the biomes are brand new and there isn't really anything you can do to improve them. So like, what are you supposed to be terraforming? The answer is kind of weird, but I feel that it's very, very important. These new underground biomes, the lush caves and the dripstone caves, are very messy in terms of their generation and the colors and the textures that they use. Let's take a look at a quick example. Here is a 25 by 25 chunk of a lush caves biome directly ripped out of the ground. And here is a forest biome, the most familiar and iconic Minecraft biome, in a chunk of the same exact size. You can really see the difference in the number of textures and colors between these two. This is mainly because the lush caves biome is brand new, so like there's a lot of new textures and blocks you can put in it. But still, check it out. I was able to count 21 different blocks in the lush cave chunk. The forest chunk only had 7. Okay, if I'm gonna be completely honest, and this is just between you and me, maybe this is a hot take, but all these textures in the lush cave, it's kinda a lot. I'm not saying that the lush cave looks bad, but there's a lot going on here even in the small chunk, and it's a little bit overwhelming. Because of this, when I'm working in a lush cave, and all of this applies to the dripstone caves too, by the way, I like to kinda just, thin out the number of textures. Usually that means like patching up holes in the ground, removing water, getting rid of random blocks like ores, diorite, and granite, or simply just cutting down on the huge number of plants and foliage around here. Not by much, just by a teeny little bit. Give it a try yourself sometime, and I bet you'll notice a big difference. 2. Get familiar with terraforming the insides of caves. I mean, it's called the Caves and Cliffs update. There's a lot of really cool caves around now, but you guys know that already. I'm sure you guys have seen all of the snapshots and update videos where they show off these amazing new cave generations. But here's the thing, they still suffer from a lot of the same old aesthetic problems that Minecraft caves in earlier versions did. Let's take a look at this ginormous cave from 1.18 and this more normal one from 1.17. In both cases, I can see random patches of dirt and other noisy blocks like granite and diorite. I can see holes in the walls that are kinda ugly, and a lot of other stuff that can be improved with a little bit of terraforming love. And that's okay. I'm not here just to criticize Mojang all day. These caves are still really dope, I just think that we can do better with all of the tools that we have in this amazing block game. So if you're gonna be building in a cave of any kind, try making the walls more natural and rounded with things like stairs and slabs. Having more than just full blocks in the cave walls can really make a difference. In addition, you can throw in things like walls to make indentations and veins of ores, which are a little bit more realistic and nice looking than those blobby patches. If you want to see some more examples and other terraforming tips, check out my 7 quick tips video from a couple months ago, which is entirely on terraforming. 3. You can really go nuts with the increased world height. In case you missed the details of the 1.18 update, the world is now 64 blocks higher in both directions. Instead of being 256 blocks tall, it's now a whopping 384 blocks tall, which means that a lot of things that weren't possible in 1.17 and earlier are now totally doable, such as building a hidden sky base high in the sky where no one can find you. Building giant statues at a greater detail now that you can scale them up higher. Making mega skyscrapers and cityscapes on a more realistic scale. If you've got a huge mountain range, you can set up a bunch of watchtowers across it, straight out of Lord of the Rings. As you can see here, there are a lot of fun things you can do with the new world height, and I hope some of these served as inspiration for your builds. 4. Everyone loves the new caves, but don't you forget about the cliffs. One of my favorite things about this update, and I think this is really underrated, is the fact that we now have these really cool sheer cliffs. Like, check this out. Isn't this dope how the land just drops off into these big wide rivers? I love it, and I wish more people talked about it. Imagine a hidden pirate cove tucked away behind cliffs like these with old sunken ships poking out from under the dangerous waters. Or maybe a fantastical medieval Arctic town living right on the edge of a huge frozen river. Can you imagine taking a boat and zooming down this ridiculous icy river, passing by a bunch of old rustic village houses? I think that would be pretty epic. Or maybe you don't want to make a whole town. I think that these wide open, cold taiga wildernesses are perfect for a cute little log cabin. There is something very serene and peaceful about a lone settler or hermit out here in the middle of vast nowhere, chopping trees and staying warm around a cozy campfire. You could call it a simple build, but you know, it's not about the technical complexity that makes a build good. It's the life. 5. Do you keep falling into holes in the ground? Why not turn one into a sprawling underground fortress? Another thing I kept noticing as I was exploring the new 1.18 terrain was all these mega holes in the ground. They just randomly show up and they connect to these absolutely enormous caverns. And it got me thinking, how could you use a pre-generated big hole in the ground and turn it into a cool build? Well, let me show you. If you're into making a fancy fortified fortress or some kind of hidden hideout, these drops into the deep dark can really be your best buddy. Like, this small opening into a huge underground space is perfect for a bunker or a vault or any kind of secret base. You can check out my video on underground bunkers if you want to see some vault door designs I've come up with. Number 6. Use the slice caves for some epic mine shafts. Check these bad boys out. These are called slice caves, and they're a brand new type of cave generation in 1.18. You've got these huge angled pieces of open space underground, and they often poke out to the surface a bit. I think they're really cool. But on top of that, they're very vertical, which means you can do some really cool things with them. Imagine a big slice cave like this with a bunch of tubes and tunnels poking out one end and going across the big empty abyss into the other side. Each tunnel is part of a massive mineshaft network or even an underground village. Building Better Biomes, episode 16. The regular vanilla abandoned mineshafts already kinda do this, where they will use logs and chains to keep the platform supported, but it's pretty rare that you find a big vertical one like this. If you happen to stumble across a slice cave on your adventures, definitely check it out. It's got the potential for some amazing builds carved into the sides of the rock walls. 7. It's time to go big or go home. Boot up any new Minecraft world in 1.18 and you'll immediately notice how large things are. Like, sure, mountains are taller and whatever, but have you seen the scale of these things? It's not always obvious right away if you're flying around in creative or in spectator mode, but just take a moment to sit down on the ground in survival and look around you. Everything is so big now. Like, what the heck? And this means that you've got a lot more room for large-scale megabases and big structures. Now that the world is so much bigger, why not invest the time into a bigger project? Now, we could talk all day and all night about efficient strategies for preparing, starting, and finishing megabases in survival and creative Minecraft, but I think that we'll save that for another video. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see some discussion on large megabase projects. Anyways, with all of these new large-scale terrain features, there's no better time to sink your teeth into a huge project. Trust me, it's fun. Alrighty gamers, I think that's just about all I've got for today. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for making it this far. Watching to the end of my videos is easily the best thing you can do to support my channel, hands down. So thank you. You're literally poggers. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe perhaps hit the bell as well. Until next time, this has been Leon, and I'll see you all in the next 7 Quick Tips video. Stay cool, gamers.